Duh.
Surprise, monkey farmer. Hello everyone, I'm K Swope, and yesterday we got the first two episodes of Dexter Resurrection that dropped. I watched them on Paramount Plus, and I have some thoughts, some reactions I want to share with you guys. Very excited for the season. We are going to be doing a full season review when the season's over, but I figured with this taste we've been given so far, I'm going to give my initial reactions. So here's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be talking about the things that I liked, and then a few things that I didn't like. Now, I don't have definitive conclusions on a lot of these things, but just going off what I have so far, I am going to tell you my thoughts generally of Dexter Resurrection episodes 1 and 2. So starting with the things that I liked, okay, the good stuff. I think the setup for the series is pretty creative, and I like it a lot because we see, specifically, this series is borrowing a lot from the format of Dexter New Blood, okay, in terms of how it's shot and everything like that. And Dexter New Blood started with Dexter, his old habits coming back, and him taking out the runaway killer guy's son, okay? This is different because it starts on a similar note where there is a murder that takes things into the next direction, except it's not Dexter this time, it's Harrison. So Harrison was saving a lady from, let's just say, unfortunate circumstances, and in doing so, he ends up killing a dude, and he's working at a hotel. He uses the hotel's resources to dispose of the body, except then the body is found because Harrison is not quite, he hasn't really done this a whole lot before. He's done it not at all by himself. This is his first solo kill, and this is not something that he has experience with, and that is very fascinating because then Dexter feels like he is called to go and protect his son, so he goes to New York to try to go and follow Harrison to try to help cover up what he did, and it's leading him into a whole rabbit hole of other things going on that I'm very, very excited to see unfold. These episodes also had a lot of great cameos in. For one, we get Ghost Harry back, okay? That's not a cameo because he's, in the series pretty regularly, it seems, and so we're really, really excited for that. But there was a section, okay, where he was having hallucinations and dreams, and in these hallucinations and dreams, we saw people like the Trinity Killer, he came back. We saw Miguel Prada, he was back, and then none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Sergeant James Dokes himself. So that was fun. I really enjoyed seeing Dokes. So he, of course, dropped his iconic line as soon as he came in as well.
Surprise, mother.
I gotta appreciate that. That was pretty funny. But yeah, so pretty great. And then, of course, the setting, this series taking place in New York, is fun because I almost view this series so far as Dexter Takes Manhattan, and I love the idea. So I think it's going to be really, really interesting. And they're also showing a side of New York that I don't think gets shown a lot in TV and movies, which is the side of the everyday common people who just live in New York, and how different that is compared to most other places in the country that you go to. Especially seeing someone like Dexter, who was practically born and raised in Miami, and then he went up to spend it was about 10 years living in somewhat seclusion over in Iron Lake, upstate New York, and then coming into the city and seeing how all that stuff changes and stuff. That is really, really cool, and I do enjoy seeing that, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of this kind of stuff as we go on into the season. However, it is not all sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows for this series so far. There are a few things that I am not a big fan of so far, and the first and foremost thing I gotta mention too is Dexter is off the hook for everything that he did and was accused of back in New Blood, and I do not like that at all. It's not that I think that's a bad setup, it's just that I think that the way they handled it was not well, because they basically just say that his girlfriend, whose name escapes me, the police chief girl, he basically just leaves and drops everything and then, gets the heck out of Dodge, and I don't like that. I'm just really surprised that she would do that because she just seems so adamant on pinning Dexter to the wall and, taking him out, into the hands of justice, and she just drops everything after everything goes down with Harrison and all that stuff. And I don't like it, and it all just feels so circumstantial. Like, Dexter's been getting off the hook for a lot of stuff now, and it's starting to feel old. I wish that these things would kind of catch up to him a little bit, and so seeing that happen was not fun. And then the man, the myth, legend, Batista comes in, and he basically signs whatever forms, I guess it is, saying that Dexter is now alive. He is legally resurrected because he was never actually dead to begin with. So, of course, that's where we get the title of the series. So Dexter is Dexter again. No longer Jim Lindsay hiding his identity, none of that stuff. Which, again, I don't think that part's not particularly bad. I just think that the fact that Dexter's off the hook so easily, that is a little crazy. And then Batista also seems to be very sus of Dexter. He's still his friend, and he's still, happy to see him alive and stuff like that. But Dexter's worried about that a lot, and so that's why he runs from his rehab facility when he's recovering from getting shot. And yeah, so I get that, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like, I don't know. he's going to make it look worse for himself by doing that. But on the other hand, it's like, I don't see there's any other way for him to get around that. But either way, I think the whole circumstance with that is a little confusing. We'll put it like that. A little confusing, not very cut and dry. But anyways, moving down from that stuff, there's also a killer that Dexter finds out exists who basically hires like rideshare places, Uber, things like that, and kills the drivers, okay? Which is interesting. I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to play out. But the guy comes off the dark passenger, which on one hand, it's kind of funny because it kind of makes sense because he's, ordering these Ubers. He's a passenger. He's driving them, dark passenger. That makes sense. But on the other hand, it's like, what are the odds that another serial killer out there would use the name the Dark Passenger without knowing of Dexter's existence and the idea of his Dark Passenger? And Dexter kind of gets envious of that. And I think it's kind of funny, and it's quite obvious, especially if you watch the trailer, that he's eventually going to take out this guy and steal his identity as this dark passenger, and that's what's going to end up getting him involved in these, I don't know if we're going to call them games, trials, that it seems like Peter Dinklage is going to be setting up based on the trailers once again. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, but I think the whole dark passenger thing, that is just cheesy if you ask me, and yeah, just very, very weird. Now, my only other complaint I will have to say, and I could probably make the same complaint about New Blood, to be quite honest, is it feels a little slow. Not that exciting things aren't happening, and that it's still keeping my attention very well, but I feel like there are certain plot points I'm expecting it to hit, places I'm expecting this to go toward, and it's not really going toward stuff at the speed I guess I would like it, because I don't know. I mean, I guess in today's age, you got, your TikToks, people have attention spans of goldfish, maybe I'm one of them, and I just feel like it's taking a little long to get there, but it's not that I don't like where it's going, it's just it's going a little too slow for my personal taste. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's basically the gist of it. I mean, Dexter Resurrection so far, I do really like it. I'm really excited to see more of it. So I'm looking forward to next week seeing another new episode drop. And of course, looking forward to more episodes dropping as the weeks progress. And then I will be doing a full review of the season. So make sure you guys, if you want to see that, subscribe. Make sure you hit that like button as well. I greatly appreciate it. And hey, what did you think of the Dexter Resurrection first 2 episodes? Love to hear your thoughts in the comments. But until then, I'm K Swope, and I want to thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.